Hello. So today I thought I'd bring you something special in my special Pikachu Macy's Boys Department pajama top and my unorganized bookshelf, which I said I was going to organize many months ago, but here we are. Today I'm going to be going back to the past and tier ranking all the books that I read in AP English. My AP English class was sort of wild in that we didn't do anything other than read books. We didn't really write any essays or anything like that. The only thing that you got graded on was annotating your books. So you were supposed to make 3 annotations per page per book. And then our teacher would just flip through it like this. That's a terrible way to annotate books, and was probably the beginning of my abusive relationship with books, where I just treat them like shit and write all over them and leave them lying open and stuff like that. As a reader, I really enjoyed it. I've put together a tier maker list of all of the books that I read in AP English, or at least all of the ones that I could remember. There are 21 books and plays here, and I really thought I read more than that. Maybe because in high school I was a drama queen, so I was like, oh, it's so many books. How am I ever gonna do all of this work? I mean, I'm still a drama queen, let's be real. But the other reason is that out of these 21 books, 20 of them are written by white people. And I was trying to put together this list, and I was like, there's no way we spent a year only reading white people. But as far as I can remember, that is entirely true. This is technically better than my US literature class that I took the year before, where in order to get rid of the woman and person of color requirement, we read 1/4 of the Joy Luck Club. There were 4 interwoven storylines in the Joy Luck Club, and our teacher photocopied out one of them and gave us little packets to read, and the rest of the year was white men. So getting a great education over here. Anyways, so as I remember, I did really enjoy this class, and it's one of the reasons why I've read as many classics as I've read, because, we just went through them. So without further ado, I will start tier ranking these books. Just to go through the tiers, I have 5 tiers here. The first one is the books that changed me, that I'm like, oh, this has fundamentally affected my outlook in life, etc. Second tier is heart eye emoji, would read again. So these are books that I read in this class and I loved, and I would really like to read again. A theme of this video is that I have a terrible memory. So I feel like a lot of this is going to just be vaguely yeah, I liked it, but I don't remember anything about it. So that might be a lot of this tier. We have just the meh face, meh. I feel like that's self-explanatory. We have the grimace face, should reread. And this is books that I did not enjoy at the time, and I don't remember liking, but probably that is because my youthful brain was not fully developed, and I really should probably give those classics another try. And then we have a don't know her. So there are a couple of those on here where it's just did I need to read this? No. Do I want to remember that I read this? Also no. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get to some tiers. Okay, so first up we have the play A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. Goldfish brain is going to be a theme of this video. I don't remember a lot of this, other than I can always depend on the kindness of a stranger. So I guess that's a should reread. Okay. There's a husband and wife and a sister-in-law, and they're all sort of hanging out together, and bad things happen. That's what I remember about this book. I think I remember vaguely liking it. I don't think I hard-eye liked it, if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this one under should reread, because I probably like it, but also I remember almost nothing about it. Then we have Anna Karenina which I remember really, really, really liking, even though my mom spoiled it when I was like 50 pages in. I feel like this one is just like really, you're following many people around high society and looking at their relationships and stuff like that. And I remember being like really affected by this book, and the writing was beautiful. And even though I think it's actually pretty unlikely that I'm going to go back and reread a 900-page book, it was one of my favorites from AP English, so I'm just going to pop that up into Would Reread. Then we have Antigone. So this is a Greek tragedy that I don't remember anything about. Okay, Antigone is the main character. She's in prison for reasons, and there's a lot about duty. And I feel like I really like books where duty is the main theme, especially like with a female protagonist. I don't know why. That's just like something I'm into. What should I do? I guess because I don't remember a lot about it, this is a should reread. I think we already have a theme going. Next up is William Faulkner, As I Lay Dying. I remember this one very well because I hated it. Basically, this is about some children, not children, some adult, grown-ass children whose mother dies, and they decide she needs to be buried, like, at their home 3 states away, and it's summer, and it's in the south, and they carry her body in a wagon across the south. It's like the worst road trip ever. They're all super messed up. They're just dragging this rotting corpse with them. It's Southern Gothic. I did not like it. I think it's like sort of stream of consciousness. There's a whole chapter that is in the point of view of the youngest son, and the chapter is, "My mother is a fish." It's like, is that supposed to be deep? Am I supposed to get something from that? I don't think so. We have a good old don't know her. Okay, next up we have Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. This book I really liked. I think I really enjoyed it because it was very humorous, and I feel like humor doesn't have enough of a space in like classic literature in general. So basically it's about the absurdities of war. It's, as I remember, very funny, very nihilistic. I did a video with Milena where we read 1-star reviews of each other's favorite classics, and I listed Catch-22 as one of my favorite classics for that video, and there are a lot of things in those 1-star reviews that I like don't really remember, and make me think that maybe I wouldn't like this as much on reread. So considering that I find it a favorite, I should probably give it a reread. I don't know which one. Okay. I'm going to put it under Heart Eyes, Would Reread. Is there any real important difference in between these two categories? Probably not. But yeah, I should probably get back to that at some point. Okay, next up we have Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky. This is basically the story of a very poor man who is angry at his landlady, and he decides to plot the perfect murder. He kills her. Turns out he's not a very good murderer. And there's a lot of religious stuff in it. So, yeah. I mean, it's weird because I remember this one better than a lot of the other ones, but also I feel very meh about it in general. Like, did I find the plot interesting? Yes. Did I think it brought up important societal issues? Yes. Did I think the whole thing was a little bit overwrought? Yes. Did I like the whole come to Jesus thing? No. So, I guess I'm just gonna have my first meh. Like, I don't plan to reread it. Maybe some other Dostoyevsky at some point, but I think that works out. Next up, we have A Doll's House. Oh my god, I can't read these. I don't have a beer today, just a spindrift. So, next up we have A Doll's House by Ibsen. Again, weirdly, I remember really loving this play, but I don't remember much about it. I think, honestly, it's in that genre that I find very difficult, which is women trapped by social circumstance, being smart but desperately unhappy. But I remember it doing that genre very well. I feel like I would try to go see this as a play at some point, but since theater isn't happening, we're just going to go with would reread. Next up we have Ethan Frome, which is the Edith Wharton that I've read. I really didn't like this when I read it for AP English in high school. I was like, what is wrong with these people? Calm down. But then the next year I went off to college on the East Coast in the middle of nowhere, very snowy winter, and I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, no, this makes sense. So I wouldn't say it would be in... I don't really want to reread it. I feel like I should try reading more Edith Wharton, but this one, I think we're just gonna go with this. This one's fine. We're fine with Ethan Frome. Oh, here comes a dog. Da, 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 da. Next up, we have Heart of Darkness by Conrad. Conrad? By someone I don't remember. And this book is about the evils of colonialism, but I don't remember much else. And I think that even in high school, I was like, I don't know if this has aged as well as you think it has, Miss Teacher. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, this book may have been ruined for me by my father growing up, because whenever he thought I was doing anything melodramatic, he would just turn to me and go, the horror, the horror, which I didn't realize was a reference to this book until I read it. So thanks for that, Dad. I guess I will put this in the meh category. Am I fully utilizing my tears here? Apparently not. Now we come to the only book on this list written by a person of color, Invisible Man, written by Ralph Ellison. When I read this book, I felt very meh about it. There were parts that I liked about it. There were parts that I didn't like about it. I think now this is definitely one of those books that I would appreciate a lot more now, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the should reread category. Next up, we have another Faulkner, because for some reason my teacher loved Faulkner. I'm like, what are we doing here? All of Western literature, and we read 2 Southern Gothic novels? What are we doing here? Anyways, I remember A Light in August less than As I Lay Dying, because it made less of an impact. I still think that this book merits a don't know her qualification. Sorry, Faulkner, you're not for me. Next up, another play. We have A Long Day's Journey into Night, which is about waspy people with substance abuse problems, or Irish people with substance abuse problems. I sort of forget. This play made no impact on me, and I have no desire to reread it. So we're gonna go for Don't Know Her. Sorry. Next we have No Exit, which is a play by Sartre? Anyways, I read No Exit and A Doll's House basically at the same time, so I actually have very little memory of what's from what. Like I feel like a lot of the scenes from both those plays I'm getting mixed up in my brain, which makes a little bit of sense because the patriarchy is hell. But basically, No Exit is Sartre's description of hell. There are like 3 people stuck in a room together for all of eternity. I think this is the play that popularized the phrase, hell is other people. And yeah, I remember it being really interesting, actually. So I'm just going to put it under Hard Eyes Would Reread. Next up, we have Oedipus Rex. And I'll just say, I just always choose the first image that Goodreads gives me. And just look at that cover. Like, are you kidding me? That's horror right there. That's true horror. Ugh, that's a rough cover. Anyways, so Oedipus Rex is about a man named Oedipus who has his fortune told, and he's told that he will, sleep with his mother and kill his father. So he goes out and is like, no, I'm gonna go away because that sounds like it sucks. And then it happens anyways, and it's a play about how you can't avoid your fate. And I sort of hate that. I really actually didn't enjoy this at all. I mean, I feel like it was sort of ruined by the fact that this is a story that everybody knows already, but I didn't get anything out of reading it, and I did not find it interesting to read. I didn't find any themes in it where I was like, oh no, that's a good point, you know? It just was what it was, which was not good. Then we have Pride and Prejudice, which I had to read for AP English, but I had read before, and I have read since. So, love this book. Love a good Jane Austen. Not my favorite Jane Austen. Emma would be my favorite Jane Austen. But still, Lizzie Bennet. Gotta love her. Mr. Darcy. He's fine. Hard Eyes would reread. Hard Eyes probably will reread at some point very soon. Okay, next up we have Pygmalion, which is the George Bernard Shaw play that My Fair Lady is based off of. So basically it's a upper crust linguist picking up a flower girl off the street and is like, I'm gonna teach you how to speak properly, and that's gonna like be a thing and tell us a lot about class and stuff. So at this point my video froze, but I'm not going back and refilming it, so I'm sorry. It's just gonna be audio from now on. Hopefully still entertaining. Okay, thanks guys. It's very funny. It's a lot better than My Fair Lady because it ends differently, and the Pygmalion ending is better. And yeah, I really loved this play. Pygmalion is a reference to the Greek myth where the guy makes the most perfect statue and then he falls in love with it or something. I forget. Anyways, so Pygmalion, I definitely would reread that. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Then we have Tess of D'Urbervilles. Tess. What to say about Tess? I really did not like this when I was reading it. I found all of the characters overwrought. I mean, bad stuff happens. I get it, Tess. But also, like, I think it's really hardy. Like, why you gotta write like that? Why does everything have to be, like, a thing? You know what I mean? So I would really like to put this under Don't Know Her, except I know that Milena really likes this book, and I would like to give it another chance at some point. So I'm gonna truly put it in the grimace face should reread category. Emphasis on the grimace. Then we have The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, which is about a group of lonely people in a southern town who are sort of putting all their problems on this deaf man. And it's about their lives and the nature of loneliness and stuff like that. And I remember really, really loving this book and finding it very meaningful. So I'm going to put that under Hard Eyes Would Reread. Do you know what? We're going to use all of our tears. I think that this book changed me. I think, yeah, it made me think about life and relationships and people differently from before. Like the before and after made me think a lot. I really liked it. I should reread it because, again, like a lot of the details aren't there in my brain anymore. But yeah, I also know that there's a new sort of like memoir literary analysis type of book that has recently come out called My Autobiography of Carson McCullers, which is by, I think, Jen Sheplin? Correct me? Graphics? So I'm thinking of doing like maybe a pairing for myself where I reread The Heart is a Lonely Hunter and also read this newer memoir. I think that could be a lot of fun. Okay, moving on. Next up we have The Stranger by Camus. No, I don't like it. Basically, this guy murders a random man on the beach. It seems like to the modern day audience that this is a racially motivated murder, but that's not like brought up or considered at all in the text. And then he sits in jail a lot and thinks about his life and his relationship with his mother. I would put this firmly in the don't know her category. Next up, we have Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. I mean, I think I can firmly say that I did not understand this book. It's two people, or it's a play. I did not understand this play. It's basically two people waiting for Godot. If I had to take a guess, I would say Godot is probably God. But does anything happen? No. Do I think you need a whole play to bring that point home that nothing's going to happen? No. So, is this a meh or a don't know her? We're just gonna be harsh, you know? You gotta take the wheat from the chaff, or whatever the saying is. Last but not least, or maybe least, I also didn't like this one. Okay, last we have Wuthering Heights by one of the Brontes. This is about something. There are lots of mores in it. It's basically a gothic romance, and the main romance is terrible. Kathy is terrible. Heathcliff is terrible. You don't like either of them. I mean, I'm all for unlikable characters, but like, not unlikable in like a dramatic way. You know, subtly unlikable. I'm gonna put this under the... No, you know what? It's going to don't know her. Yep. I had a couple books that I did not like from AP English. Let's just say that. Anyways, these are my final rankings. I guess, you know, I did have one book from AP English that I felt changed me in some ways, and a lot of books and plays that I should reread. So, all this being said, it was a learning experience. What you gonna do? That was my education. Okay, thank you so much for coming along on this fun little tier ranking, challengey thing. I had a fun time filming it. I had a fun time talking about these books. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.